What's up, guys? I'm Victor. We're back for some NFL Thursdays here on Top Cheddar. A lot is happening around the league, not necessarily news wise, but just with all of the teams coming down into that playoff hunt. Uh, we're looking at teams going for the first overall pick, even though who we thought was tanking is not necessarily tanking anymore. So it's true that I believe no team is tanking out there. However, we're basically right in the hunt for playoffs. For those fantasy football lovers, we're either starting playoffs this week, most likely, or this is the final week to make playoffs. Lots happening around the league. So, a little bit of news before we get into it. Um, Andy Dalton, he's going to take over his starting job again, I believe. However, still without weapon AJ Green, who I don't even know if he's coming back this season at this point. I keep reading articles all over about he might be back this week or he should be back next week. So far, for the past 6 weeks, I think I've said he could be back. I'm not going to bank on him being back until I see that he is 100% even not good to go, just in their starting lineup, because I don't want to give you guys bad information from here on out. So, Andy Dalton back at QB, still no AJ Green. Eli Manning most likely to start this week due to some injuries to Daniel Jones, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. At this point, for the Giants, probably just maybe keep out Jones for the rest of the year and make sure he's ready to go for next season because he's clearly their QB of the future. And yeah, overall, my lock pick last week lost. Another week that the lock pick has lost. We're 12-3 now. However, this really hurt the Eagles' chance, and we'll get into that with that Monday night game. So, without further ado, picks for this week. Starting with Thursday night tonight, we got Dallas at Chicago. I'm going to take Dallas in this one, and I think this will really put the pressure on the Eagles if they want to make the playoffs. That division's by far the worst division in football right now, and yet the Eagles and Cowboys, and technically the Redskins, still have playoff hopes. I doubt the Redskins will do it. However, yeah, Eagles and Cowboys really in a battle for top of the worst. Carolina at Atlanta. I'm going to take Atlanta here because they're home. Carolina just fired Ron Rivera, so interesting move. They're clearly just looking at rebuild. Cam Newton came out and said how he wasn't happy with it at all. He was very hurt by this. I really, without being mean, don't think they give two craps what Cam Newton thinks because I think he's going to be traded this offseason. Kyle Allen is their QB of the future, it looks like. And with Kyle Allen and Christian McCaffrey, they had a lot of success this year. So, even after Coach Rivera's win streak, now with a couple losses straight, they let him go. They're looking towards the future, starting a rebuild. Will be very interesting where Ron Rivera goes. In my opinion, he's still a very good coach and can help a lot of teams in this league. But I'm taking Atlanta because they're home. Baltimore at Buffalo. I'm taking Baltimore. It's so tough to pick against these guys, and I am more sold on the idea that Buffalo is a good team. I will not call them great. I don't quite think they're great. But yeah, I'm going to take Baltimore here in what could be a first round matchup of the playoffs. Probably not because Baltimore's looking to get that bye. Cincinnati at Cleveland. I'm taking Cleveland. I don't care that Cincinnati won last week. Denver at Houston. I'm taking Houston. I did not expect that win over the Pats, even though it was in Houston. So good for Houston. Patriots starting to show signs of weakness. I am nowhere near saying that this team is falling apart or not going to make a run because I still, in my mind, think the Patriots are the number 1 or 2 threat in the AFC, especially come playoff time. Detroit at Minnesota. I'm taking Minnesota. Very interesting game between them and Seattle this past Monday night. All around a great game. And I think Minnesota kills them at home, especially without Matt Stafford. Yet again, it looks like Washington at Green Bay. This is my lock pick of the week. I'm taking Green Bay. They're fighting to hold on to that division. And I believe Green Bay and Minnesota still have to play each other one more time. Don't hold me to that, but I believe so. So that will be very interesting because that will probably decide who wins the division. Indy at Tampa Bay. Colts fans and Spencer, let me just say, I actually like the Colts. Aside from the Steelers, they're one of the two teams I actually root for to win, usually on a weekly basis, unless whoever they're playing has an impact on the Steelers. And yet there's no team that's tougher for me historically to pick who's going to win that game. I seem to always pick Indianapolis wrong, so maybe for their sake I pick it wrong again. I'm taking Tampa Bay at home. They've looked very good lately. I'm going to let it roll. Miami at the Jets. I'm going to take the Jets in a bounce-back big game for them after the Bengals loss. So, I don't know, Miami's been hot, but I'm going to stick with the home team there. San Francisco at New Orleans. I'm going to take the Saints. I'm all about the Saints. I think they are going to come out of the NFC, at least at the start of the year I thought that. I still think they have a very good chance of doing that. So, we'll see. San Francisco, 2 tough road games in a row, with first at Baltimore and now at New Orleans. So, we'll see how that plays out. Chargers at Jacksonville. I'm going to take the Chargers. This is a tough one too. The Minshew, Gardner Minshew, is starting this week, so we'll see how that factors into things. But I'm going to take the Chargers here. Tennessee at Oakland. I just think Tennessee is the better team. I really don't care about home field advantage for the Raiders. I did not think the Raiders were going to be good coming into this year. I had them at around a 4 or 5 win team. They've already passed that. However, I think Tennessee goes in, and as they're playing for a wild card spot right now, I think they advance one more. Kansas City at New England. I really want to pick Kansas City here. I really do. I never want to doubt Patrick Mahomes. However, it's in New England, and that's all there is to it. New England does not lose at home, especially to AFC teams. I think they're at like 49 games straight. Not including playoffs for wins versus AFC opponents at home. So you figure that's like 6 to 8 straight years of winning at home. It's ridiculous how much they win at home. However, it's what it is, and I'm going to take New England here. I don't see them losing 2 in a row. Steelers at Arizona. This Steelers team, man, Duck Hodges playing QB. He started last week. He's already announced as a starter moving forward for now. They surprised me. Their defense, our defense, I'm a Steelers fan. That's very well known across this channel. Our defense, I believe, is top 10. I have no doubts. Our offense, usually bottom 10. So it's always interesting how it plays out. I'm very excited to watch this game because both teams can surprise me in this. I did not expect the Steelers to score as much as they did last week. So we'll see. Seattle at the Rams. I'm going to take Seattle. They're just the better team. But the Rams fighting for that second wildcard spot. We could potentially see 3 teams from the NFC West in the wildcards. Very, very strong division. Strongest in football, in my opinion, flat out. And I'm excited to see what happens there. And finally, our Monday night game, the Giants at the Eagles. I hesitate picking the Eagles every time now. However, they are the better team. They're at home. They're still fighting for a wild card. And now Eli Manning is playing. Unfortunately for Giants fans, I see Eli Manning throwing 2 picks in his first game back. And I think Saquon finally gets rolling here. However, Eagles win probably by 7 or more actually in this game. So please let me know your picks for this week. Let me know who you're excited for. As of right now, by memory, if I can remember this correctly, the playoff order and standings in each is in the AFC 1 through 6, of course 5 and 6 being the 1 and 2 wildcards, is the Baltimore Ravens, New England Patriots, believe it's still the Kansas City Chiefs, Houston Texans, Buffalo Bills, and then the Pittsburgh Steelers in that 6th spot. Next team in is Tennessee Titans, they're sitting at number 7. In the NFC, with the Seattle win, again this is by memory, don't quote me, I believe it's Seattle number 1, Saints number 2, Packers number 3, technically Cowboys number 4, at such a gap in those. And then number 1 wildcard right now is San Francisco, and number 2 wildcard is still the Minnesota Vikings. Next team in, technically the Eagles for their division, and I believe the Rams for the second wildcard spot. So go over, check those stats and rankings, make sure that I did say that correctly, and let me know who you think down below in the comments is going to make the playoffs and who's going to fall out of the playoffs. 1 from each, unless you see more changing. So yeah, thanks for tuning in to Top Share Sports. Make sure to like, comment, smash that subscribe button. Please tell your friends about this account if you like what we post. And to all you fantasy football players out there, good luck. It's coming down to crunch time. See you guys.